Hello everybody out there, this is Seto Kaiba from your Yu-Gi-Oh! Chat channel, and today I want to talk about what do you feel like was the worst format ever in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! What format was the worst? This current format we're in, which is almost over in about a month, um, it's been pretty bad, but it's been kind of like a bad mini format because for March, April, and May, it was water, mermails. That's what dominated until mid-May when we had Techion come out, and then we had Broken Spellbooks with Judgment Day. Then we had Elemental Dragons on the scene with Dragosack and Big Eye and all that hoo-ah. But so it's been kind of like a mini format for like June, July, and August, and a little bit of May, like I said earlier. But what do you feel like is the worst format ever? And there's so many different formats to choose from because each format, some formats are good, some formats are bad. Some off the top of my head I can think of are Chaos, when we had Chaos monsters introduced, like DMOC and Envoy of the Blacklist Soldier Envoy of the Beginning, uh, Chaos Emperor Dragon, Plant Synchro, Six Samurai, when Six Samurai had 3 Gateway and Shein and all that. Hooah. Let's think what else. Then you had last format where we had like last year at this time we had Chaos Dragons, we had Windups, we had Dark Worlds, we had Rabbit, we had all this stuff. It was more diverse than this year, I would say, because this year it's pretty much been Spellbooks and Elemental Dragons. Look at Worlds. Look at you know, the nationals we had a couple about last month. It was pretty much all E-Dragons and Spellbooks as far as the eye could see. No Ophion, and the only thing that really up in the top 32 to mention besides that was Madolche. So that one Madolche deck, which I was happy that snuck in there. But, I feel the worst format out there that was ever out there. And there's a lot, Gladiators and Glad Beast when they came out, and, Heroes and Plants and Teledad, because people compare this format to Teledad. For its fastness, I would say this format is kind of like Teledad. I did play in Teledad. I was around when Teledad was around. But for fast-paced type gameplay, yes, it's the same thing as Teledad. Besides that, not much, though. Different playing styles and everything. But the worst format I would ever say that I ever played in was it's a coin toss up. It's a coin toss up between Chaos and Goat Scapegoat format. Why is it a toss up between those two? Because back then, unlike today, even though the format could be going to hell in a handbasket, you do have outs. You do have cards you can play to help against main meta decks. You have Max C's. You have Effect Veilers. Even though they may not be completely effective, they help you. They don't, you have outs. You have Effect Veilers, you have Max C's, you have hand traps are more prevalent in the game. Back then when you had Chaos, back then when you had Scapegoat format, back when you had those type of formats, it was slower, you did not have hand traps. So if somebody went Yatagarasu on you with Scapegoat format, you couldn't do nothing. You just sat, they just put you in the Yada lock, and you just sat there. You couldn't draw, and it was just a nightmare most of the time. They just, keep pecking you to death, and you couldn't do a thing about it. It was awful, and it's one of the reasons why Yada got banned back then, and it should stay banned, even though I question if it would do superbly good in this type of game today. But it deserves to stay on the ban list. It's one of those cards that should stay on there because it was that bad back then. If you're a new player, if you've been playing around maybe the last 5 years, you may not remember that. But if you've been playing for a long time, you remember the Yada Lock, probably. You remember the Scapegoat. You remember Chaos Dragon, Chaos Monsters. And so, back then you didn't have outs. Now you have outs nowadays. And that's why it's a toss-up between Chaos and Scapegoat. But if I had to choose, I would choose Scapegoat. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you old players that have been in the game for a long time, what you feel like was the worst format ever in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But like I just said, mine has to be Scapegoat. Because you had it was a fun format, yes it was, but it was an annoying format. But it's really a toss-up between Chaos and Scapegoat. But till next time, everybody, Take care. I look forward to seeing what you feel like the worst format ever in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh was. I really want to hear what you guys' responses are on this topic. But till next time, everybody, take care, have fun dueling. Seto Kaiba, I'm out of here.